November 1st, 1943. Empress Augusta Bay, Bougainville Sergeant Milan Gravich crouched behind a makeshift defensive position volcanic sand course beneath his boots, eyes fixed on the jungle tree line for Japanese movement in his hands, an aircraft machine gun stripped from a crashed dive bomber fitted with a crude bipod attachment smelling of welding torch and improvisation. 2 days later, November 3rd, when Japanese forces attacked Gravich's weapon fired at a rate impossible. For ground-based guns spitting rounds at velocities, no standard Marine machine gun could match this unauthorized modification born from frustration and necessity would evolve into one of the most devastating infantry weapons of the Pacific War. It helped turn the tide on Iwo Jima, the bloodiest beach in Marine Corps history, where more American blood soaked into volcanic sand than any other Pacific battle. The problem plaguing Marine rifle companies was written in blood. The standard M19-19A6 Browning machine gun reliable, but heavy at 32 pounds required multiple men to transport effectively its rate of fire, 400 to 550 rounds per minute, provided suppressive fire but lacked the overwhelming power needed to neutralize Japanese pillboxes. Marines died waiting for fire support that arrived too late. The M19-19A6 was adequate for defensive positions or vehicle mounts, but inadequate for rapid infantry assaults in dense jungles and across volcanic beaches. Mobility meant survival, firepower meant victory. The M19-9A6 offered neither in sufficient measure. Japanese defensive positions, masterfully constructed, used natural terrain and volcanic rock to create mutually supporting fields of fire. A single camouflaged pillbox could pin down an entire platoon. Suppressive fire from the M19-19A6 allowed Japanese defenders to time movements between bursts. Maintaining defensive fire Marines needed overwhelming fire to prevent defenders from raising their heads. The M19-19A6's weight compounded the issue at 32 pounds. Plus ammunition and tripod, a machine gun section needed 3 men. Repositioning under fire was dangerous, and slow Marines felt this in their bones every time they watched comrades fall waiting for support. Milan Gravich, born May 24, 1924 in Minnesota, joined the Marine Corps with a machinist's understanding. His pre-war training in metal fabrication gave him practical knowledge to modify equipment when he volunteered for the Marine parachute battalions. He brought mechanical ingenuity. The Para-Marines, an elite unit trained to drop behind enemy lines, attracted Marines who thrived on challenge their brutal training. Weeded out those lacking stamina or toughness, fostering a culture of initiative and adaptability. This environment allowed Gravich to conceive the stinger in a conventional unit. Modifying government property might mean court-martial in the Para-Marines. It could earn approval. The ANM-2 aircraft machine gun was everything. The M19-19A6 was not weighing 21 pounds. It was significantly lighter. Its rate of fire, 1,200 to 1,500 rounds per minute, tripled the ground gun's output. Designed for aircraft where slipstream cooled thin barrels, it sustained high rates of fire that would melt. Ground-based weapons, its spade grips, solenoid triggers, and turret mounts were useless for infantry, but its performance offered revolutionary potential. By late 1943, surplus ANM-2s littered the Pacific theater as American air superiority reduced the need for defensive aircraft guns. Crashed planes provided components for enterprising Marines. Private William Colby from Gloversville, New York, salvaged an ANM-2 during the Bougainville campaign. His crude modification added a bipod to the muzzle end on November 3, 1943. Colby repelled a Japanese assault with devastating effect. The weapon's high rate of fire overwhelmed attackers despite overheating and awkward grips. Its psychological impact was profound. Japanese soldiers accustomed to the rhythmic fire of Browning guns faced a continuous roaring tear that left no gaps for movement. Gravich watched Colby's weapon in action and saw revolutionary potential. If a crude conversion could achieve such results, a properly designed version could transform infantry combat. Gravich and Private First Class John Little began work on the first true Stinger using an ANM-2, likely salvaged from a damaged aircraft. They replaced spade grips with a sheet metal trigger mechanism, cut down an M1 Garand stock for a stable shooting platform, and added a Browning automatic rifle bipod, and sight Marines familiar with the bar would find the Stinger intuitive, reducing training time. The result was a 40-inch, 25-pound belt-fed weapon with a 100-round ammunition box. Its cyclic rate neared 1,200 to 1,500 rounds per minute, delivering 3 times the firepower of the M19A6. A 3-second burst sent 70 to 75 rounds downrange, emptying the ammunition box in 5 seconds, Japanese pillboxes. Unable to withstand such fire gave demolition teams crucial seconds to advance. The Stinger saw no combat on Bougainville, but proved the concept of converting aircraft guns for infantry use. The Marine Parachute Battalions disbanded, February 29, 1944. Large-scale airborne operations were impractical in the Pacific. Small islands offered limited drop zones, and logistical challenges made parachute units less viable than amphibious assaults. Paramarines scattered across the Fleet Marine Force, spreading their culture of innovation. Gravich joined G Company. 28th Marine Regiment, 5th Marine Division activated January 21, 1944 at Camp Pendleton. The division, built around former Paramarines, inherited their aggressive problem-solving, slated for operation detachment. The invasion of Iwo Jima, a volcanic island 750 miles south of Tokyo. Iwo Jima's airfields were critical for emergency landings, fighter escorts, and invasion staging, but intelligence underestimated Japanese defenses. Lieutenant General Tadamichi Kuribayashi prepared for 9 months, creating an underground fortress of tunnels and pillboxes. His 21,000 troops followed a new doctrine, rejecting banzai charges. They fought from cover, aiming to kill 10 Americans each, delaying defeat to raise the cost of invasion. The pre-invasion bombardment, February 16 to 18, 1945, was massive but ineffective against Kuribayashi's. Hidden defenses, shells, and bombs failed to collapse tunnels. Japanese troops emerged intact on February 19. The D-Day, February 19, 1945, saw 7,000 Marines land on Iwo Jima's beaches. Volcanic ash slowed movement, bogging down vehicles and men for an hour. Japanese held fire, then unleashed pre-registered artillery mortars and machine guns. Marines died in black sand, unable to dig in or locate camouflaged positions. The 28th Marines, tasked with isolating Mount Suribachi, faced intense fire from its slopes. Gravich, frustrated by the M19A6's limitations during training, proposed building Stingers for G Company. His company commander, cautious but intrigued, passed the request to the battalion commander, who approved in writing. This protected Gravich from charges of unauthorized modification. He and Little scoured Hawaii for ANM-2's fabricating triggers, stocks, and bipods with hand tools. Each Stinger required days of precise work to ensure reliability. By January 1945, 6 Stingers were ready, test fired, and refined. Overheating remained a limitation, requiring strict 3 to 5 second bursts. The 6 Stingers were distributed, 1 to each of G Companies, 3 rifle platoons, 1 to the demolition section, 1 for Gravich, and 1 for Corporal Tony Stein. Born September 30, 1921 in Dayton, Ohio. Stein enlisted September 22, 1942. His toolmaker training gave him skills to assist in Stinger fabrication as a paramarine. He excelled in training, joining the 28th Marines as assistant squad leader. His intimate knowledge of the Stinger would prove critical on February 19th. Stein was among the first ashore carrying his Stinger. Its 25-pound weight allowed rapid movement through volcanic ash when his platoon was pinned down. Stein stood upright, drawing Japanese fire to reveal their positions. He charged pillboxes, firing controlled bursts from the hip, a 3-second burst. Sent 75 rounds into firing ports, suppressing defenders. He made 8 400-yard runs to the beach for ammunition, discarding shoes and helmet for speed, each time assisting wounded Marines to safety. He killed at least 20 Japanese and destroyed multiple pillboxes. His stinger was shot out of his hands twice, but he repaired or replaced it and continued fighting by nightfall. The Marines held a precarious foothold with over 2,400 casualties. The stingers proved invaluable over the 36-day battle. Their high rate of fire suppressed pillboxes, allowing demolition teams to advance on February 23. The 28th Marines raised a flag on Mount Suribachi captured in Joe Rosenthal's iconic photograph. Stein, wounded during the fighting, was evacuated to a hospital ship, but returned to his unit on March 1st, leading a 19-man patrol to reconnoiter Hill 360A positions. Engaging a pillbox with his stinger, he was killed by a sniper shot. The Japanese defenses designed to expose attackers to overlapping fire claimed him at age 24. The battle ended March 26, 1945, with 6,821 Marines killed and 19,219 wounded. Japanese losses were near total, Iwo Jima's. Strategic value remained debated, but its cost was undeniable. Stein's Medal of Honor, approved February 19, 1946, cited his improvised weapon and extraordinary courage. His widow Joan received it in a ceremony attended by his mother. Rose disputes over his burial led to his interment at Calvary Cemetery, Dayton, in 1948. The 6 stingers disappeared, after Iwo Jima likely destroyed by a Marine Corps averse to non-standard equipment, no official records documented. Them Gravage survived returning to Minnesota, never seeking recognition for the stinger. He viewed it as a practical solution to save lives. Its legacy lies in the Marines. It helped survive the tactical opportunities it created, the initiative it represented. The stinger embodied Marine Corps values: initiative, innovation, mission focus. Gravich and Stein exemplified these standing upright under fire-building tools. Regulations didn't authorize running through hell to keep fighting modern militaries, balance standardization and innovation. The stinger shows success requires space for both. Its story reminds us wars are won by problem solvers who dare to innovate regardless of rules.